Teen Circus. That's what we're going to be doing today for a little bit. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Aidan. We're going to do a little bit of circus, hopefully to keep you guys moving, keep you guys fit, keep some of the skills you've worked so hard to get still up. And it's a good time to just go and break a habit, get some movement, start getting yourself out of your bubble a little bit, but stay in your bubble, like outside of your mental bubble. Stay in your physical bubble, folks. So today, what I've got planned for us to start with, we're going to do a little bit of a warm-up, get your heart rate going, get your muscles sort of activated and working so they know what they're going to be doing. Also, let me know if you can't hear me or hopefully the stream's working, because that'd be nice. But yeah, a little bit of a warm-up. We're going to go into handstands because now of all times is a really, really good time to get good at your handstands. You don't need a whole lot of space, you don't need a whole lot of equipment. So when we come back to the hard I expect you guys to be absolutely nailing your handstands. It'd be great. We're going to do a little bit of tumbling. I've got something for us to try and learn that's small. You can try and learn it inside. It's not huge, so we're not going to be throwing anything that might damage anything. But it's good fun. Some of you might be able to do it already. Then we're going to do a bit of juggling. Same reasons as your handstand. Now's the time to get good at it, right? If you're stuck inside, not with a whole lot else to do, learn to juggle. Why not? We'll finish with a bit of conditioning, a little bit of stretching. Everyone just knows I like conditioning. So, as you might have seen on the introduction anyway, what you guys are going to need, you're going to need a wall. I've got two. One that's got windows on it. Don't use that one. Use one without windows. You're going to need some space. I've got a room. It doesn't need a ton of space. But you want a little bit. We're going to be doing handstands, so you want enough space to fall and bail if you need to. Speaking of falling and bailing, some cushions if you want them. I would recommend them for the tumbling portion of the class. And also just if you want to, not if you want to, but if you're doing a handstand and you're worried about bailing out, set some cushions up behind you. And 3 juggling balls. I have juggling balls, but if you don't, a little bit of warm-up. You're going to come stand on up. Oh, I'm going to change that angle so you can see me. I'm going to start with going for 45 seconds, just high knees. Get your abs working, get your quads working, get your heart rate up, all that good stuff. So, starting about now. Try and hit your hands. Point your toes when you're at the top as well, because, why not? As high as you can get. About halfway. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up, don't slow down. And stop. Keep a little bit of a jump, a little bit of a bounce and a twist. I'm going to turn that into our washing machines. Big, loose, floppy. It's a bit of a shake. You get as much bend and down and as swing as you can. You're going to get upright, keep it just rotation, twisting side to side, really feeling your trunk move around. And then get a little bit looser, a little bit bigger. And then bring it back up a little bit looser, not loose, a bit tighter, a little bit more, just straight rotation. Coming down, bending our knees. I'm just going to rock, go down a little bit. We're not going to go all the way down to a cossack, you're just rocking just enough to get a straight leg. Keeping your chest upright, looking forward. You can do little waves, you're going to come up and down. So doing this little circle up and over. Then we're going to go the other way. Keep that tummy tight. Couple little bounces, bounce and shake. Cool, we're going to go into shoulders. So we're just going to start with, can you see my face? Probably not. Let's change that. We're going to go for 20 shoulder circles forward with big arms. 4, 5. Keep your ribs tucked in, you don't want them to be Doing a big wave, keep it all nice and straight, just your arms moving. I've lost count. So we'll go for another 5, and that's probably 20. 4, 5. We'll do 20 backwards, because, you know, that makes sense. 1, 2. And again, rib stays in this as well. 5. Arm's going to come out, across, out, and straight. Again, 20. It's a nice round number. We're going to go with that. So in, out, hands. Elbows, hands. And alternate crossing which hand is on top when you come back into the middle. Squeezing your shoulder blades together at the back. Enjoying it. Keep breathing. Breathing will help. Again, I've lost count, so let's just do like another 8. That seems about right. 3, 4, 2 more, 7, and 8. Okay, we're going to do what I've heard called Madonnas, and the idea is you're standing still, like you're about to go on stage. Your arm's going to come across your body. It's going to come in front of your face, so you check your makeup. It's going to come around by your ear towards your hair, which you're going to check. Flick your ponytail if you've got one. And then you're going to throw it all away because actually you don't really care. So makeup, hair, don't care. So he's really stretching out on the don't care. It's nice and long. Really, really throw it away. And then we're going to try the other side. So again, across your body, to your face, around to your ear, around to your hair, and then throw it all away. I don't feel like they're Madonna specific. I feel like they could be any sort of celebrity. Or even just any sort of like performer. So maybe these are just like circus Madonnas. I don't know, I'll think about it. I'll ask some of the other trainers to see what they think. We're going to try both at the same time though. So 2 different ways to do it. First we're going to go both together. So they're both coming across, both to your face, both ears, both out. So they're both doing the same thing, same time, and alternate which hand is in front. Some sort of like weird swimming motion. The other way, we're going to be going what's called split time. So one's going to come up and it's behind your head, your other one's going to start. So you're always in motion. There's also some kind of like weird swimming Madonnas. I mean, don't give it a little bit of a shake. Shake it out, check it out. A little bit of a bounce. Alright, grab a little bit of water, because next we need to get our abs going. That's what our abs are doing. Is anybody... Cool, I presume the stream is working. That's what it's telling me. Alright, move this a little bit this way. So we're going to be going for 20 dish rocks on each side, which sounds like a lot, but I know most of you and I believe in all of you, so you can all do it. We're going to start on our back. So what we're focusing on here is keeping that dish. You're pulling your ribs into your hips the whole time, your shoulders stay off the ground, your feet stay together, and your arms stay apart, just for 20. 1, 2. If it gets too much, you can just hold the dish. Halfway, guys. Doing pretty well. Keep breathing. It'll help. $20 on your back. Done. Smashed. You guys fully have this. I presume I can't really see you, so I presume you fully have this. On our side, you're going to have your top hand in front to provide balance. you want to make sure your hips are stacked over each other. So I'm not all the way over, and I've not got my legs in front of me. Can be rolling my back again. Always on the inside. You're pulling your hip into the side of your ribs. Your bottom hand is going to be lifted off the ground, and so are your feet. Just 20. That's all. 1, 2. Really pulling with your side. That's halfway. Cool. And you can stop there and just check and make sure your hips are where they're meant to be, so you haven't rolled backwards as you've been going, or rolled forwards. So we're halfway through the dish rocks already, absolutely smashing it. So now we've got the other side. Same deal, and you don't want to be pushing out of the hand that's on the ground. It's just there for balance. The pull comes from that contraction through your side. So getting ready, and here we go. The halfway mark, check where your hips are. Think about pointing your toes as well, because why not, right? Three-quarters of the way done. It's very bright. What if I did that? Is that going to be, that's a little bit better. Okay. So now we've just got them on our front. Be a boat, not a fish for this one. So it's going to go feet, then hands. You're a boat. You're riding the waves on your journey to a six-pack abs or something. Whatever motivation works for you. So on your front, feet together at the back, arms apart at the front. Feet, then arms. Keep your back arched. Ten more. How simple was that? Nothing to it, am I right? You guys are doing really, really well. Grab some water. This room gets very hot. The afternoon sun's just straight in. It's just very sweaty. All right. So, seeing as we're going to be starting with handstands, we want to be warming up our wrists. These are pretty important. So a little bit of mixing up your milkshake, as Caitlin likes to describe them. And if you want to, you don't have to, but you can. You get to drink your milkshake. And then you go on your roller coaster. Really focus on that, like, roll through the wrists and the fingers. And then the roller coaster has to go backwards, of course. And then shake them out. Shake them out the other way. And you're out to the front, you're going up. Try and keep your fingers flat so your fingers aren't curling. And down, so your fingers aren't curling, they're staying flat with your palm. It's 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to do the same thing here, but this time we're just going up and down this way. Go in front, pinkies down, thumbs up. It's 2, 3, 4. The sun's going away now. Oh well. Right. Gonna pull this down. You come hands and knees, you just gotta do a little bit of rock forward, rock backward. Starting to put some weight into your wrists, feeling the pressure of where it goes into your hand, yeah? We go wrists together, a little bit of a circle. I know I spend a lot of time on wrists, but they're quite an important joint to keep healthy. Especially now when you're more likely to be training handstands and stuff more often. So go the other way. Don't just start jumping into them without warming them up. They're quite important. Be good to you. It'd suck to even do a time like this. Right, I'm going to go for our wrist push-ups now. So you're stacking your shoulder all the way over your wrist, and we're going to be pushing our hands up but keeping our fingers on the ground. We're going to do it 10 times. If you need more weight, you can shift your knees back. If you need less weight, you can shift your knees forward, but don't change the position of your shoulders. You shouldn't be rolling back, and you certainly don't want to be doing it over the top. Nice and stacked. Once we've done that, we're going to go for a little thumb lift. So all I'm doing is I'm just lifting my thumb and the pad of my hand up. It's a small movement. Don't get the mistake of trying to bend into it. So if you look at my arms, they stay straight. I'm not trying to cheat it with my elbows. My elbows stay straight. So 10 little thumb lifts. That's one. Check that your elbows are staying straight. And if they are, make the movement smaller. Doesn't need to be huge. And then we've got 10 on the pinky side of our hand. 1, 2, 3. Elbows still straight. Always elbows straight. And then we're going to do 10 all the way up to fingers. And again, elbows stay straight. Double check that your shoulders are still over your wrists. Cool. Give them a bit of a shake. And the last one we're going to do before we actually do some real handstands is a handstand drill I do all the time with all of my classes, and I do it before I do any handstands. So you're going to be against the wall, or if you've got a friend who's with you, or a parent, or a brother or a sister, you can grab their ankles, use them, and they're going to tell you if you stop pushing them, which is why it's not as effective as the wall. But hey, we work with what we've got, right? The idea is you're going to be lying down, your handstand position. You're going to have that tuck, like we just did with the dish rocks. So your hips are trying to pull into your ribs, and your ribs are trying to pull into your hips. So your whole lower back is going to be on the ground. We're just going to hold the position. You're going to have your arms up by your ears, keeping your ribs in. You'll be pushing against the wall, holding that body position for 10 seconds. That's where we're going to start. So I find my friend the wall. I'm going to put my hands against him. And I'm pushing away, and I'm tucking in. So if I take my hand and try and put it under my back, there's no space. But if I let the core go, my hand can just float under. We're not about that. So everything pulls in, squeeze your ankles together, hands against the wall, and we're going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, keep your ribs in, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to do the same position again, but we're going to go for 5 little knee draws in. So the idea with that is my hips and up stay exactly the same the whole time. My heels can stay on the ground, but I'm just going to pull my knees in until my hips start to move. And as soon as my hips start coming off, or they start leaving, I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to push back. I'm going to focus on really keeping my hips without, and I'm going to squeeze my butt to make sure that happens. So we're going to go for 5 of those. So push against the wall, or your ankles, or whatever you've got. Squeeze your hips in, pull your ribs in. I'm going to go for 1. Keep pushing against the wall. Squeeze your butt on the way out. It's going to be 2. Keep pulling with your abs. Keep contracting, keep holding. It's 3. It's 4. Check you're still pushing, check you're still breathing, and that's 5. Last one, promise. Then we're going to do some real handstands. We're going to do the same thing again. This time we're going to keep our legs straight, and we're just going to do little leg lifts. It's not a full leg lift. I'm not going from the ground all the way up and over. It's going to be maybe this far. And again, I'm trying to keep my upper body and hips and abs all dead still. They don't move. This is what you're going to be doing in your handstand. Because your legs can do whatever they want. If your hips are stacked above your shoulders, you're golden. So we're going to come down. Hands against the wall. Start pushing. Engage your core, roll them in. And go for 5 little leg lifts. They don't need to be super high. That's it. That's all. No biggie, right? Grab some water if you would like, bearing in mind we are about to go upside down. So let's look at a wall. Let's check the time. Yeah, we're doing well. We're on time. It's good. It's good. Okay. So we're going to go handstands on the wall, 3 sets of 10 seconds, so not too killer. I want you facing the wall. So your nose and your toes facing into your good friend the wall. You can cartwheel up, you can walk up to you guys. You're trying to get as close to the wall as you can. Keeping that disc shape tucked in, really keep pushing out of your shoulders, because as soon as you let your shoulders go, that's your head going to the ground, and we don't want that. And if you're worried about falling out of this one, put some cushions out in front of where your handstand's going to be. So, fairly self-explanatory. I think you're all a pretty intelligent bunch, so you should be fine. I'll give you a little bit of time to set the cushions up if you would like. Don't you just shake out the wrists. Send me a joke in the chat. That's always good. I'll look when the class is over, tell you who wins best joke. Alright, so against the wall, you can either cartwheel in. So I start facing the wall, chest and face looking towards. My arms are up and I'm going to reach down to the ground, placing my hands, fingers pointing away. Kicking up one leg, go into my handstand. Alternatively, and what you guys are probably more likely to have done in class, is walk up the wall into your handstand. So once you're there, you're pushing out your shoulders, you're squeezing your abs in. Make that butt squeeze. Remembering to breathe, I'm going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. First set done. Not even an issue. So grab a little bit of your breath, shake your hands out. We're not going to have a massive rest, you don't need it. Because you guys are all pretty fit, pretty strong. So get ready because we're going to go up again for set number 2. That wasn't quite as nice an entrance. Once you're there, squeeze, push, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So one more set, that's all. That's it. And then we're doing some other handstand stuff, yes. But just one more set into the wall, that's all I'm asking. So shake it off, a bit of a bounce, think about your joke. And we're going to get ready for set numero 3. I think those are 2 different languages. Numero 3. That's what I was thinking for. Right. Pushing up, squeezing your butt, going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Handstands on the wall are completed. Nice job. Doing well, doing well. Next step, we're going to be going for 5 kick-ups. Yeah, 5. 5 kick-ups on each leg. So to do that, I'm going to be starting legs together, my hands above my head. I take a step forward as much as I can. And I'm going to keep my back leg straight, and it drives up straight. My front leg bends, because that's going to be my power for my push, but my back leg is going to drive upwards and help lift my body into my handstand. I'm reaching my hands as far away as I can, checking that you're not going to kick any lights or anything as you do so, because that would suck. I don't necessarily want you to hold your handstand there. All I want you to do is kick up, float a little bit. If it holds, great. If it doesn't, that's alright, we're all learning. And then come down. So just 5 each leg. It shouldn't take super long. So arms up, reach forward, 1. And I want you to come down the same leg you kick up with. Don't change. Same leg. 2. 3. Oh, not as nice. 4, but it still counts. And 5. So it's my good leg. because I was an idiot and did my good leg first. Then I have my silly leg. It's not a bad leg. It's trying, so it still counts. 5 on your other leg. 1. 2. Not as nice. 3. Really think about driving that back leg on your silly leg. Normally doesn't want to do that. You really, really want it to. 4. Last one. And 5. Great, handstands. I would highly recommend when you guys are training this at home, do train both legs. It makes a world of difference when you need to start putting them into choreography and things. So definitely do that. A little bit of water, catch a breather. You're doing well. I'm still onto it. Next up, we've got tumbling. And for this is probably a slightly different move. Some of you kip, if you're watching, I'm fairly certain you can already do this. It's a kip up, or some people call them upstarts. And the reason I'm going to teach you guys this is you can do it in a small space. That's how I learned it. But to do that, we're going to do a couple more ab prep drills, because your abs are super important in this motion. A kip up, for reference, is when you're lying on your back and you flick yourself to your feet. Super, super cool move. I've seen a lot of martial arts movies. Make sure you do have space. If you're worried about it, I would grab a cushion to put under where your butt's going to go, because sometimes you can land on that. So, come up to like this. What we're going to do, 10 really fast V-snaps. So up, up, as fast as you can. Make sure you've got enough space. And each time your hands and your feet are going to come back down to the ground. Are we ready? Go. 1, up, 2, up, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really lift your chest. Really, really good move. Start that contraction, make that happen. The ideal drill would be a little bit heavier, but to do with space and weights and equipment things. So that's really, really important to start with that. We're going to do another set of 10, but this time it's just going to be your chest. Legs stay on the ground. So what that looks like, so I'm going to be here, sit up, reach for my toes for 1, reach for my toes for 2, reach for my toes for 3. Make sure you don't hit the wall. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now your core should be feeling pretty warm, which is good because we want it to. The way we're going to start our kip up, so we're going to go over the basic position where you're going to start first. After I roll, I come down to my back, my hands come by my shoulders, and my fingers are pointing in towards my shoulders. They're not turned out. My hand comes over to here. I'm going to roll back, hips over my shoulders. Let me roll down. Do that 3 or 4 times, just to get used to that motion. So I'll roll back, hips over shoulders, super compressed, and roll over. The cleaner way and the nicer way is to do it with straight legs. So you'd roll over, straight legs, roll over with straight legs, and that boils down to 2 different styles of kip-up. One of them is a much more gymnastic and elegant one with straight legs, and the power comes from hip snap. The other one's a little bit more parkour, free runny, and that's using power of your legs, your knees pushing open, as well as your hips. Up to you which one you want to try. Some people find different ones easier depending on what their bodies are like. Next, it was going to roll up, push straight to candlestick, and back down. So what that looks like is I roll back, push up, and down. Roll back, push up, and down. So you're trying to hit that straight line, hips stacked above shoulders, feet stacked above hips. So you can either come over and push up with your legs, or you can come over with straight legs and push up with your hips. Go for 5 of each, actually. We'll try both. 5 of each. So starting with our knees bent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 with our legs straight. Make sure you've got enough space so you're not going to kick a wall. 1, oh, that wasn't very straight. 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you're starting to feel that you're starting to lift a little bit, that's what we're after. That is what's going to help you get up to your feet. Really, really important. So it's really that snap and that lift, and that's what's going to get you the initial part. The other part is, of course, with your arms, and carrying on that push to really set yourself right. So the next one is we're not going to be worried about arms just yet. Being a rock, do the same thing. You're going to push up and land in a little shoulder bridge. So what that's going to look like is up, legs landing. So you're reaching with your legs, trying to get them under your heels, keeping your hips up. Okay, hey, 5. 5's a good number. Let's do 5. Keep your hands under your shoulders. I'm landing several times, so I'm trying not to be super noisy. Land with both feet at the same time, yeah? 2 more. Not too bad so far. Going for time. Halfway. Cool. Next step is to take that into a full bridge. So as you kick up and out, you're going to push with your arms, extending into your bridge. And if you don't have a bridge, I'd like you to try anyway, but put a cushion so it's going to be under your shoulders. So if you come up and slip back, you're landing on the cushion, not the ground, because that's not the best idea. We're not trying to flick ourselves away. We're just going to push over, up to bridge. And this is why our hands are pointing back to our shoulders. That's going to give you the most support and push out, so you can push out your hands when you're really going for the full thing. Go for another 4 into the bridge. So the push out of my hands happens after I explode my legs a little bit. Not after the explosion is done, but after it starts. So it's very legs, arms, if that makes sense. 2 more. That was early. Those are your kip-ups. That's the start of your kip-ups. I might get an angry note from the people downstairs later, but they knew what they were doing when they signed up. So, if that's where you're at and that's feeling good and achievable, the next step is to really, really push out your arms and try and lift yourself all the way back up. And this is where I would suggest having cushions under where your butt and where the bottom of your spine is. Because it's real common to sit up and then land straight back down your butt. And if you do it a lot, it can hurt. But you're also not falling from a super height. But I would get some cushions. And the push for this is you don't want to push and then reach forward. If you guys can do a front handspring or a front walkover, the idea of leaving your arms behind and being the last thing to come up is still going to apply for this. Because if you think about it, once you push into your bridge, you're just going to be standing up from your bridge. That's where this is going. So from there, it's the same sort of motion. You're just trying to get into it before you've established that bridge. So as you come over, your feet hit the ground, you're already trying to lift up and out of it. So really similar to the exit of a front handspring, if you guys have done it. If you haven't, maybe this will help you learn a front handspring. That'd be sick. And again, you can either go straight legs, if you're most driving that way, or if you're more used to exploding with power by pushing it with your legs, you can go that way. It looks a little bit messier, but can be easier to learn to get that power. So a full kip up. And the other thing is, you don't have to start from sitting on the ground. If you'd like a little bit more power to roll into it, you can start sitting on your heels. So then when you sit back and roll, you're already giving yourself a little bit of momentum to bounce back with. So that is going to look like this. Grab a cushion. Have a couple of goes. If you just want to stop at bridge, fine. If you just want to stop at the shoulder bridge, also fine. But have a couple of goes more, start building that pattern into your body. I've not done these in a while. I'm going to stop doing them because that's going to thump and annoy people downstairs. But have another couple of go. Take some videos of yourself trying this if you want, and send them to me or the rest of the Circus Hub guys. If you're worried about, is it right? Am I doing something wrong? Is there a way I can do it better? Because that's going to be how we can actually help you get that. So take some videos of yourself doing this and send them to us. Better, throw them up on Instagram. Tag, what is it, Circus Hub Community? There's a hashtag somewhere for it. So have probably another 5 or 6 goes. That's what we're mostly looking at for our tumbling session today. It's something we can just learn inside. Check the cushions. Really, really push. Make sure your fingers are here. Don't turn around here. That's going to put undue stress on your fingers and on your wrists. Flat hands. Same as a handstand. If you're thinking about doing your backwards roll, same hand position. So another 3 or 4 attempts. I wonder if they're even mad about this. It's also easier to do with straight legs if you've got high enough ceilings. I'm kind of worried about breaking it light. You can also take this out to your backyard. Grass is kind of nice to land on. But stay in your bubble, folks. Wash your hands. Cool. That's something cool. Once you've done a little bit of that, go grab some water. Give your wrist a bit of shake, sometimes it can be there. Give your neck a little roll, because sometimes rolling onto it can be a little bit uncomfortable if you're rolling too far. Or sometimes people try and push with their head, which isn't necessary for this style of kip up. But give your neck a wee roll, back the other way. Grab some water and then grab your socks, or your mandarins. Don't use mandarins. Or your eggs. Don't use eggs either. Eggs are a bad idea to juggle. Or your juggling balls, ideally, is what we would be ideally using here. Do a little bit of this. And again, most of you are going to be working at a different juggling level. I know some of you can already juggle 3 balls, some of you are working on 4, some of you are still working on 1 or 2, and that's absolutely fine. You have at least 4 weeks to get good at this. So I'm just going to start off with doing some 1 ball. These have sand in them, which is why they rattle. We're just going to do starting off with your basic little rainbow throws, so travelling from one hand up and over to the other hand. Well, that's a little bit far. And it's only needing to go about eye height. Doesn't need to be going all the way up and down, because then you have to look up. Doesn't need to be super, super high. And again, if you have, not again, I haven't mentioned this, you want to ideally be juggling standing. And the reason for that is you can use your whole body to move and counter it, whereas this, you're relying on half of it staying static, keeping on the ground. The other good tip is if you're practicing this on your own time, do it in front of your bed, because then when you drop a ball, you just reach down and pick it up, instead of bending down and picking it up. It's just a little bit less hassle. If this is feeling pretty solid, pretty good as of right now, start testing so you can do some under the arms. You don't want to swap hands, you just want to keep changing the same hand. So my hand's coming under the hand, and then it's throwing across back over. It's not trying to make it circle releasing here. It needs to come all the way under before it comes across. And it just makes this little circle. And then you can try it on the other hand. So I'm not as good with this hand. You can see because this hand's moving. On this one, my arm doesn't really have to move. On this arm, it's trying to move a lot. Once you play with that, you can either keep playing with that, or you can start alternating catch with hands. So you can under, catch, under, catch. And this makes this little figure of 8, which is kind of nice. And you can try it in reverse if you would like to. So for this one, I'm going to be throwing it over to the other side, and I need to reach my hand under to catch it quickly enough. Same again with the other side. I want to see if I can stand up for this, because this is annoying me. Oh, that's better. Okay. Have a play with that for a little bit. So you're going maybe under one side, back over, or you can drop it on the ground. So you can go over, over, back under. Ooh, sneaky, sneaky. Maybe just keep one arm there and it just goes around that arm until you want to change. And you can go back and then just work on your regular rainbow throws. And by now this should be feeling pretty simple. You should be able to do this pretty solidly. And for those of you who can already do 2 or 3 balls, you may as well start moving on to that. But the brief recap for 2 juggling balls, actually if I do a different colour. So I'm starting with the red ball. The red ball gets thrown up, and when it's at the top of the throw, right by my eyes, I'm going to throw the white ball, and the white ball goes up. So they both need to travel up. There's none of this down here nonsense. It's only up. So I go 1, 2. You see how different the timing is? It's not both at the same time. It's going to be 1, 2. Now I want to be able to start that from both sides. So always starting with the red ball, 1, 2, 1, 2. And the goal is to be able to do it pretty consistently and just into a pattern. So that's something just to work on for a little bit. What you're trying to avoid, and I don't like doing this anymore, but it's good to know, is you're trying to avoid just one hand going up. It's not the kind of juggling I'm trying to teach you guys. It's always one and then the other, and they both need to come up. So if you like, you can put a little clap in between. But that's something to start working on. That's not a bad drill, actually. That said, if 2 balls is totally your jam, and you are here for that, and 2 balls is your thing, and you are all over this, the next step is add 2 balls with a clap to your leg. So again, if I start with my right hand, I'm going to throw this one up. The white ball is going to go up, and then when the white ball is at the top of the throw, this hand that threw the red ball is going to clap myself on the leg before I catch the white ball. So it goes 1, 2, clap. And the idea behind that is the clap is you throwing the 3rd ball. That is the timing for you to throw the 3rd ball. So that's if you just want to play with 2 balls, or maybe you want to play with 2 balls with the clap. And you can see how slow it is. I don't need to be doing it super fast down here. That gives me less time. It makes the juggling more stressful. And juggling's not meant to be stressful. It can be very frustrating, I will certainly admit to that. But juggling to me feels calm. And that's how you can tell good jugglers. They make it look super calm. If someone's really stressed and tense about their juggling, they're probably still learning. And that's okay. That is okay. But the goal is to have this nice, calm juggling. So again, if you're at just 2 balls, that's fine. If you're at 2 balls with the clap, that is also fine. But I do know some of you are onto 3 balls. I'm going to go with the same colour for this because it appeals to my aesthetic senses. So for this, it's the same set. 2 balls start in one hand, 1 ball starts in the other. And all you're going to do is you're going to throw at the same time you would clap normally. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3. That's also 1, 2, 3. you should try and catch both in the other hand. So you're just doing separate flashes. So 1, 2, 3, and they all catch. 1, 2, 3. And do remember to start with your other hand as well. So you're alternating which hand starts. Otherwise, it's very easy to get caught up into being only able to juggle on one side. And then that doesn't really get you anywhere when you want to turn it into the full pattern. So that's your next challenge, is to be going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if that doesn't feel good, then you're going to stop catching both at the same time. So instead, when you would be catching the ball, you're going to catch, throw straight back away. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to count your throws. Sometimes I find it's useful as a seeing where your progress is, see how many throws you can get. But the end goal is to be able to not necessarily think about the number of throws, but it's just a constant movement. And my hands are always making this, if you can see them, they're doing this little circle. They're not up and they're not reaching everywhere. My elbows stay by my sides. And it's just these little circles that happen. So if that's where you're at, that is what I would like you to stay practicing on for the next 5 minutes or so. The next set is for people who have already got their 3-ball juggling, and they can do it. You're fine. You can juggle. It's fine. It's good. The next step for you is we're going to try something slightly different. If you're sick of your 3-ball juggling at this point anyway, and you're getting frustrated, you can also try this. Why not? We're going to go for 2 and 1 hand. And there's 2 ways to do this. Either you can make this little circle that goes outwards away from you, or you can throw them in their own little separate columns. And that's up to personal preference, really. But I want you to think about when you throw, it's not up, catch, throw. It's going to be that same thing even when you're doing here. You're throwing when the first ball is at the top of the throw. If you throw it when you've already caught it, it's too late. You don't have time anymore. So it's going to be up, up. So I'm always throwing them when the ball is at the top, yeah? And that keeps that constant little circle going. I can also switch and just make it happen in columns, so my hand moves underneath instead of making the balls move. But again, that's something you can play with. So those are either going to be 2 in 1 hand or 2 in columns. But what we're trying to avoid is this kind of like motion where you're scooping and throwing back into yourself. That when you start doing more and more advanced tricks, that's going to start bringing you in, you're going to start twisting. So it's the same thing when you're juggling your 3 balls, is that everything wants to stay in this kind of plane here. They can't go forwards and backwards, they only go sideways. That's what we're aiming for. So that's the extension for those of you who have your 3-ball juggling. I encourage you to work on your 3-ball juggling anyway, because this is just a thing to do. And people really, people really respect you if you juggle. They really do. But it's a good skill to learn nonetheless. So working on your 3-ball, working on your 2-ball, or even if you want to go back and work on some of those funky 1-ball throws that we were doing. Whatever floats your boat, really. Let's have a little bit of a play with that. Whether it's your 3-ball, 2-ball, 2-ball with a clap. Maybe it's your 3-ball, maybe it's your 2 in 1 hand. Whatever works for you, and that's where you're at. Highly recommend you juggle at least 5 minutes every day. And then throw some videos up. Show us how well you're doing. I would really like to see where you guys are at with your juggling practice, because I get really excited about juggling. And I know a lot of the other teachers do as well. We want to see where you guys are at. So show some videos. We can give you guys feedback as well. It's really hard in these kinds of classes because I can't see you. But show us what you're doing. I want to see where you're at, how we can help, how we can make it better. So have a little bit of play. Maybe you want to go back to your 1-ball, see what funky throws you've got from there. Ooh, that was cool. You throw up, bring your hand around maybe. Oh. Okay, maybe you can try that. I'm throwing up, and then this, I'm throwing up above this arm. This arm's going to come around on the inside, comes up and over, and I'm going to catch underneath. And then, unfortunately, there's no real way to slow that down without dropping the ball. What I'm doing is I'm throwing up, this hand's coming over and catching. Food for thought. That said, we are now into our time to do a little bit of stretching. Stretching is important. Look after your body. That's what it's there for. We did a whole lot of shoulder stuff, so we're going to start off. Camera angle. God love. It's going to go into our child's pose. So you have knees apart for this, sinking back, reaching your fingers forward, and you're trying to rotate your armpits down into the ground. I'm just going to chill out here. Just enjoy it. A little bit of a wiggle if you would like. Nice, big, deep breaths. Look at your fingers for fun. I'm going to take both our hands over to our right side. One hand on top, one hand behind. You're going to try and level your shoulders out so one of them isn't super high. They're at the same height. And you're going to try and breathe down into that part of your side. So you're trying to expand that with your breath. It should make it a really lovely little stretch. Ooh, that's nice. That's really good. And just hang out here for a little bit. Enjoy it. Stretching is the other thing you can be doing at home a lot over these next couple of weeks, by the way. We can all come back, we can all be super bendy, we can all be handstand masters, we can be juggling for days. Man, the hub will actually be really awesome once everyone's there. So, you guys can all do this, I believe in you. I'm going to go to the other side, and again, breathing down through that side. Make sure your shoulders are nice and even. Look at your fingers, if you want, you don't have to. You sit up, you're going to bring one hand forward, the other hand is going to pull it across, and you're going to keep this shoulder down, pulling away from your ear. If it's up here, it's not going to do you a whole lot, so you want to try and keep that arm straight and level, pulling down, and this other arm's pulling it in. Just going to move the stretch down through here. Quite nice. I enjoy this one. So when you see a whole lot of people do badly as well, because they're always like this, and that doesn't really do anything. Swap to the other side. Another nice one I like doing after handstands a lot. So I'm going to reach one arm forward, my other arm is, so it starts similar. It's not the same stretch. One elbow bends under the other, then my other elbow bends, turn around so you can see. And I'm going to try and pull my elbows up, but I'm trying to pull my shoulders down. So I'm not doing this, I'm going to do the opposite. And I can breathe into that. Start straightening my arms, opening out. And I can swap to the other side. Pulling my shoulders down, elbows going up. Starting to straighten my arms. And come out of there. Just going to get out of the sun because it's blinding me. And I'm not about that. You're going to go for a good old-fashioned pike stretch. So legs out in front of you. You're trying to pull the backs of your knees into the ground. So your knees should be really pulling up. You'll be sitting up nice and tall. Arms up. You're going to fold forward, trying to reach your toes. You want to keep your chest up so you're not rounding over. That doesn't really stretch your hamstrings as much. So you're trying to pull your belly button onto your knees. Hands reaching onto wherever part of your leg you can reach. If that's past your feet onto the wall, love it, beautiful, love your work, keep it up. If it's onto your feet like me, congratulations. It's really rewarding actually. If it's on your ankles, it's fine, you're doing your best job. Knees, you're going to get there, it's all good. So wherever you are playing at, really, really pulling your belly button forward. Let me just hang out here for a little bit. Still pulling the backs of your knees towards the ground. And you're going to let go, but you're still going to be reaching forward, so you're holding it actively instead of just passively. And you're going to try and sink forward a little bit further. So pull the air. Let it pull you forward. Then when you go a little bit further, you're going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, make sure your legs are straight, 6, 5, chest up, 3, 2, 1. Sit back up and bring our legs into a little diamond shape. So you're not pulling your heels all the way in, you're staying out a little bit. Have your hands on your ankles or on your feet, and your elbows are going to just push into your knees a little bit. That's actually quite hard to see, isn't it? Just with the sun. So how about if I go in the sun, blinding myself, the things I do for you guys. So keep your feet together, push down. It's the same thing. Your chest is still raised, your back is flat. You're trying to lean forward. Get your belly button into your toes, not your nose. They smell bad probably at this point. Just your belly button. And then you can try and lean forward. And here's where you can round your back and really fold forward. Try to pull your knees down to the ground by reaching forward with your hands. At this point, we're going to come on forward. We're going to start lying on the ground. We can have our hands under our shoulders. Just going to reach forward into this little sphinxy position. So now your elbows are going to be on your shoulders. Your hands are on the ground. I'm going to change that angle so you can see me. And I'm going to be like pulling with my hands a little bit and pushing my ribcage forward. It should give me a little stretch down through my abs because you use those a fair bit today, let's be honest. And if you want bonus points, you can think about pointed toes. None of this nonsense. No sickles. Just straight point. Legs together. Pulling forward, trying to open your chest, shoulders going down your back. Then we're going to push up out of our hands. Still pulling your shoulders back, so they're not going to be up, be down and away. And walk your hands in if you need to. Do a little bit of a wiggle. Wiggle on the way down. It's called a cobra for a reason. You get to be a snake. Last one we're going to do is you're going to sit, reach one hand, stick it under your butt, and you're just going to tilt your head towards the opposite side. If you want to be on your knees, in case you've got longer arms like I do. So this head's just going to tilt over to the side. Now I'm feeling a stretch down through here. And it's really common when you do a whole lot of handstands and shoulder stuff that your neck will start tightening up in response. And it doesn't need to. Your neck's important. Look after it. If you need a little bit more, you can either push down onto the side to help stretch the muscle a little bit more, or if you're being very gentle, you can just rest your hand on top. You're not pulling, it's just using the weight of your arms to give a little bit more. You can turn up to look at the ceiling, still tilting your ear down to your shoulder, still pulling across. And then you're going to look down towards the ground, still on that side. Just to change where you feel the stretch. And we're going to swap sides. So other hand under, head goes the other way. A little bit more if you need it. But be gentle, your neck's very delicate, be nice to it. I'm going to tilt down to the ground. I'm going to look up. Oh, sun's right in my eyes. Sacrifices I do for you, man. Come down, I'm just going to roll a couple of times. Be gentle if you're practicing kip-ups as well. If you're not used to taking that level of pressure down on your shoulders, it can just roll more into your neck, which is why we're doing this. Be gentle. I look forward to seeing you guys being able to do kip-ups when we open the hub again at some point, along with all your fantastic handstands and juggling. Maybe juggling in a handstand, that'd be, oh man, that'd be really cool. Other than that, that's all we've got for class today. Take some photos or videos of what we've been doing and send them to us. I really want to see it. I got nothing else to do, so other than that, I look forward to hopefully seeing you guys next week. Good job. I'll catch you all later, I presume. Wash your hands. Stay in your bubble.